Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. It is just a very big day for Arc System Works because we got our first hints of what's up with the balance patch, the big anticipated balance patch for Guilty Gear Strive, and more than a heavy hint about who exactly will be the third character of Guilty Gear Strive Season 2. Let's put it that way. Now that said, first up here, once again, it's a busy day for Arc System Works because there's already been pretty big news. So if you didn't see it on the channel already, I highly suggest you check the video about DnF Duel and what's going on. I'll have that linked at the end of this video, but suffice to say, DnF Duel is coming back in a pretty big way. So the big Strive balance patch, let's talk about it here. So when is it coming out? It is coming out December the 15th. So that is not that long from now, to be sure. Now, a little bit unfortunate timing, to be honest, because it's the day before the big return of the Street Fighter 6 beta. So I think that's going to preoccupy people just a little bit. That means I'm probably going to play Street Fighter for a couple days before I come back to really explore the Guilty Gear patch. But still, it's coming and that is great. And yes, this also is the official implementation of the crossplay. So PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and PC will all play together like one big happy family once the patch is live. Now, while we hardly have full notes right now, they were very generous in letting us know some of the things that are going on here. Full notes, that'll come in time. So some of the base level highlights here: changes for all characters balance-wise, crossplay being implemented, fantastic, and network mode updates. Now to get a bit more into the weeds about everything here. First up, buffs for characters other than the highly rated. So basically buffs for characters other than the current top tiers, removing the gap in character strength rather than making overall improvements or additions. Now I think that's worded a little bit poorly because it's a very good thing to make overall improvements and additions, right? But I think they're trying to say they're focusing on buffing the low and mid tiers, and the top tiers as they currently stand are mostly good where they are, probably more slight adjustments. So like NG and Testament getting buffs? Probably, more than likely. Nagori, Yuki, and Happy Chaos getting buffs? No, probably not. Next up, very important here, revised opportunities for landing highly damaging combos, increased base damage scaling for some attacks except for close standing S, etc. So what this means basically is they're going for a lower damage game than what the game is currently at right now. Increased base damage scaling for some attacks except for close S and stuff like that. That basically means like, we don't know specifically the buttons, but like say your lights, your jump-ins, all that kind of stuff, any combo you start with those kind of buttons, you will do less overall damage than you're currently doing in the current build of the game. So if the game is shifting to less overall damage, and right now we don't know the exact extent of it to be sure, right? But if it is shifting to less overall damage, that means characters that prefer a slower pace, like say a Potemkin or something, will benefit more, basically. Characters that are much more about just highly explosive situations and killer 1 and 2 touches, if it takes an extra touch to kill, that can really change up how some matches work. Remains to be seen the full impact of a change like this, but it is a very big change because it's changing how the game fundamentally plays. Characters will be alive for longer overall. Will probably affect some characters more than others. And the third thing here, and this one's a bit of a mouthful, bear with me here, but increased reward when the defender goes on the counteroffensive. Adjusted tension gauge gain and risk level depletion rate depending on the situation. So what does that exactly mean? So you're probably aware of certain situations in this game where you can really abuse people in the corner if you have the positive bonus, right? So as it currently stands and as it currently reads, basically when you're just really crushing the opponent and they're stuck and their risk levels are high, you will gain less overall meter because you do gain more meter when their risk levels are maxed out. Basically preventing so-called block infinites and a lot of exceptionally long block strings. So for me, I think that's just nothing but a net positive. That benefits nobody other than the guy having fun doing it. If you're the guy defending against it, it's not that great. When situations like that arise, the game basically turns into a one-player game. That's never good for any fighting game, so good change. Another good little change here, just nice quality of life change, is when you're on the versus menu before you actually get into the game, you can see your connection and ping status to the enemy. You can already see your ping when you're already in the match, but I guess it's a nice heads up or potentially a nice, dreading moment when you see that ping spiking before you're even in the match. And apparently we're getting a little bit of load time reduction as well. Some other things coming with the patch here, we can skip the rating update sequence when you're playing online and ranked. That's good. We did learn that from the recent developer's backyard, actually, but one thing we speculated is now fact. So you can rematch even after the rating update occurs. So if you rank up or down, it doesn't just kill the match you're in. You can finish out your match. That is awesome. I can't believe it took us a year and a half to get to that point, but we're finally here. Thank God. You can manually select your room now when you're on whatever floor of the tower. We learned that from the developer's backyard. And also apparently makes it easier to match with opponents roughly around your skill level. And yes, in case you were wondering, the crossplay will be supportive for all Xbox and Microsoft platforms when Guilty Gear Strive hits those systems later next year. So it's not just PlayStation and PC, it'll be the whole big happy family when everyone else gets the game. Fantastic. So just as it's presented, these are pretty much all positive changes. The damage reduction one, we'll see. I kind of like Strive being a high damage game, honestly. That's my personal opinion. I know there are people that don't, but that's me. We'll see how that one plays out. But as far as balance changes go, we're left to speculate. We don't got any ideas right now just yet, other than don't expect much out of the top tiers because they're already pretty good, maybe some small nerfs even, and characters that are truly suffering hopefully get some pretty significant buffs. So I did mention that DLC character hint, and once again, it's not too much of a hint. Well, in terms of visualization anyways. And another way of saying it, I guess it is way too much of a hint because it's basically a guarantee now who it is. But they did run a little sequence here running end credits, kind of a capper to the Arc Revo tournament they had. And at the end, they had this. A big thank you to everyone. That's awesome. I like that. And then wait a second here. Whoa, static. What's going on? Hey, wait a second. I know this. This is the second story mode with more static. And shots of the second story mode. And wait a second, who's in the second story mode? What could be the second story mode? Bedman, static. Wait, Bedman and static. Bedman doesn't do static, does he? Oh, wait, no, that's one of his most famous traits. Okay, so let's not beat around the bush, right? It's totally Delilah. Showing the actual Bedman robot, all the static cuts that Bedman is famous for when he was in Exard. And obviously the fact that Delilah is a major character in the story mode, just like Sin was. And Sin was the most recent DLC as of a few days ago. And, you know, who else could call it? Well, we did have this video a few days ago on the channel here. And if you never watch it, cat's out of the bag, the question mark, that is totally Delilah. Because the leaks look like Delilah's the next character. And now this is basically full-on confirmation as far as I'm concerned. It didn't explicitly say it's Delilah, but everything falls into place. Let's put it that way, right? So this is a whiles off just yet. This is March. Like, Sin just came out, so, you know, we don't get new DLC characters that fast for Guilty Gear Strive. This isn't multiverses or anything, right? But still, once again, the speculation, the leaks, all pointed to Delilah, and now their own footage at the end of their own tournament is more than heavily hinting at the fact it will be Delilah. So it will probably be Delilah. The only real thing to speculate at this point is how much of a unique character she is and how much of a remix on Bedman will she be. Because gameplay-wise, Bedman was a pretty cool character. I would definitely like to see aspects of that character return for sure. And like, yeah, add a couple new twists because, you know, new character and all. But I would certainly enjoy seeing aspects of that character return into whatever Delilah is going to be. And my friends, that is the news as it currently stands. So once again, the 15th will be the big balance patch adding crossplay. We don't have patch notes just yet, but we'll get them some point along the way. And whenever the time comes, make sure to check the channel. I'll have full patch notes breakdown for you, as I usually do. And I'm just looking forward to seeing how it's all going to turn out. Strive's a pretty dang good game, but, you know, as always, you can always make tweaks, right? So hopefully these changes tweak in a positive direction. That all said, well, I guess we're at the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Guilty Gear.